Welcome to our deep dive into the world of podcasting. Today, we're going to explore 14 of the biggest podcast mistakes you can make and how to avoid them. As the podcasting landscape continues to evolve, it's crucial to stay ahead of the curve and learn from the experiences of others. Let's start with mistake number 1, not understanding your target audience. This is a fundamental error that can derail your podcast before it even begins. Many podcasters make the mistake of trying to appeal to everyone, which often results in appealing to no one. The key is to narrow down your focus and really get to know your specific audience. Think about who you want to reach. What are their interests, their pain points, their desires? It's not just about demographics like age and location, but also psychographics, the attitudes, behaviors, and values that drive your listeners. By honing in on these details, you can create content that truly resonates with your audience. For example, if you're creating a podcast about personal finance for millennials, you need to understand the unique financial challenges this generation faces. Are they struggling with student debt, trying to save for their first home? And by addressing these specific concerns, you'll create a stronger connection with your listeners. Moving on to mistake number 2, failing to have a unique selling proposition or USP. In the crowded world of podcasting, it's not enough to simply have good content. You need something that sets you apart from the competition. Your USP is what makes your podcast special and gives listeners a reason to choose your show over others in the same niche. To develop your USP, start by looking at other podcasts in your field. What are they doing well? More importantly, what are they missing? Perhaps there are things that are not being discussed, or a format that hasn't been explored. This is your opportunity to fill that gap and offer something truly unique. For instance, if you're starting a true crime podcast, you might differentiate yourself by focusing exclusively on unsolved cases from small towns, or by incorporating elements of paranormal investigation. The key is to find that special angle that makes your show stand out. Mistake number 3 is a common pitfall, not planning your episodes. It's easy to fall into the trap of winging it, especially if you're naturally good at improvisation. However, this approach often leads to rambling, unfocused episodes that fail to deliver value to your listeners. Planning doesn't mean scripting every word, but it does mean having a clear structure for each episode. This includes deciding on your main topics, researching key points, and preparing questions for guests if you have them. Not only does this improve the quality of your content, but it also helps prevent pod fade, the phenomenon where podcasters gradually lose interest and stop producing episodes due to burnout. A good rule of thumb is to have a content buffer of at least 4 to 5 episodes ready to go. This takes the pressure off and allows you to maintain a consistent publishing schedule, which brings us to mistake number 4, not keeping to a consistent publishing schedule. Consistency is key in podcasting. Your listeners want to know when they can expect new episodes. If you tell them you'll release new content every Tuesday, make sure you stick to that promise. This builds trust and helps your audience incorporate your podcast into their routines. However, it's important to be realistic when setting your schedule. Don't commit to weekly episodes if you can't consistently produce them. It's better to release high-quality episodes less frequently than to rush out subpar content just to meet a deadline. Mistake number 5 is a trap that many new podcasters fall into, prioritizing sound quality over content value. Don't get me wrong, good audio quality is important. No one wants to listen to a podcast that sounds like it was recorded in a wind tunnel. However, obsessing over having the perfect microphone or the most expensive editing software can distract you from what really matters, the content itself. Remember, listeners come for the sound, but they stay for the content. A beautifully produced podcast with mediocre content won't keep people coming back. Focus on delivering value, whether that's through information, entertainment, or inspiration. You can always upgrade your equipment as your podcast grows. Mistake number 6 is one that many podcasters overlook, not cross-promoting with other podcasters in your niche. It's easy to see other shows as competition, but this mindset can hold you back. The truth is, podcast listeners often subscribe to multiple shows within their areas of interest. Instead of viewing other podcasters as rivals, see them as potential collaborators. Reach out to shows with similar audiences and explore opportunities for cross-promotion. This could involve guest appearances, shared social media posts, or even collaborative episodes. Not only does this help you reach new listeners, but it also builds a supportive community within your niche. Mistake number 7 is another common one in interview-based podcasts, having inappropriate or irrelevant guests. Your choice of guests reflects on the quality of your show, so it's crucial to be selective. Aim for guests who are not only experts in their field, but also a good fit for your audience. Before inviting someone on your show, ask yourself, would my audience genuinely be interested in hearing from this person? What value will they get from this interview? It's better to have fewer episodes with high-quality guests than to fill your feed with interviews that don't add value. Mistake number 8 is one that can make or break your podcast: not mastering your editing skills. Editing is more than just cutting out mistakes and awkward silences. It's about crafting a smooth, engaging listening experience. Good editing involves adjusting pacing, adding emphasis to key points, and incorporating elements like intros, outros, and sound effects. It's also about knowing what to cut. Sometimes, less is more. A tightly edited 30-minute episode can be more impactful than a rambling hour-long conversation. Mistake number 9 is a big one: not tracking and adapting to your audience data. Analytics are your best friend in podcasting. They tell you which episodes are resonating with your audience, when people are listening, and where they're dropping off. Ignoring this data is like flying blind. Use these insights to inform your content decisions. If you notice that episodes on a particular topic consistently perform well, consider exploring that area more deeply. If you see that listeners tend to drop off after 30 minutes, try tightening up your episodes. Mistake number 10 is a common oversight: when the host doesn't interact with their listeners. Podcasting isn't a one-way street. Engagement is key to building a loyal audience. Encourage listeners to reach out with questions or comments. Respond to their messages on social media. Consider incorporating listener questions or stories into your episodes. This interaction makes your audience feel valued and creates a sense of community around your podcast. Mistake number 11 is one that can quickly turn listeners away: cramming episodes with ads and sales pitches. While monetization is important, it shouldn't come at the expense of your content. If you do include ads, keep them short and relevant to your audience. Aim for no more than 2 mid-roll ads and try to integrate them smoothly into your content. Remember, your primary goal should be providing value to your listeners, not maximizing ad revenue. Mistake number 12 is a missed opportunity: forgetting to promote episodes on social media. Creating great content is only half the battle. You need to let people know it exists. Use social media platforms to tease upcoming episodes, share highlights, and engage with your audience. Consider repurposing your content into different formats. Turn key points into Instagram posts, create short video clips for TikTok, or write blog posts expanding on topics from your episodes. Mistake number 13 is one that can limit your podcast's reach: disregarding your podcast SEO. Search engine optimization isn't just for websites. It's crucial for helping potential listeners find your podcast. Create a website for your podcast where you can post show notes, transcripts, and additional resources. Use relevant keywords in your episode titles and descriptions. This not only helps with discoverability, but also gives your episodes a longer shelf life, allowing people to find and enjoy your content long after it's been published. Finally, mistake number 14 is one that many podcasters struggle with: thinking you have to do everything yourself. Podcasting involves many different skills: content creation, audio editing, marketing, and more. It's easy to feel overwhelmed trying to handle it all on your own. Don't be afraid to leverage tools and resources to make your podcasting journey smoother. There are many free online tools that can help with various aspects of podcast production. If you're serious about growing your show, consider outsourcing certain tasks to freelancers or a producer. This allows you to focus on what you do best: creating great content. So, as you can see, launching and maintaining a successful podcast is no small feat. It requires dedication, creativity, and a willingness to learn and adapt. And by avoiding these common mistakes, you'll be well on your way to creating a podcast that not only attracts listeners, but keeps them coming back for more. Your path to podcasting success isn't about avoiding mistakes altogether. It's about learning from them and continually improving. Every decision you make, from your first episode onward, shapes the growth and evolution of your show. So don't be afraid to experiment, take risks, and most importantly, enjoy your podcasting. Importantly, podcasting is also about community. With these tips in mind, you're well equipped to create a podcast that truly resonates with your audience, captivates their attention, and keeps them eagerly awaiting your next episode. So, whether you're just starting out or looking to take your existing podcast to the next level, keep these lessons in mind. Avoid these common pitfalls, focus on delivering value to your listeners, and watch your podcast grow. Remember, every successful podcaster started exactly where you are now. With dedication, creativity, and a willingness to learn, there's no limit to what you can achieve in the world of podcasting. And if you're looking for more support on your podcasting journey, consider joining online communities like the Podcasting Central group on Facebook. With over 1,000 members and growing daily, it's fast becoming a go-to online community connecting podcasters and guests. This community can provide invaluable support, networking opportunities, and a wealth of shared knowledge to help you navigate the exciting world of podcasting. Inside the Podcast Central Facebook group, you can connect directly with Nuske, who is the founder of My Future Business and host of the popular business building podcast, The My Future Business Show. So, make sure to say hi and book your spot on his show. Are you ready to take your podcast to the next level? Armed with this knowledge of common mistakes to avoid, you're well on your way to creating a podcast that not only survives, but thrives in today's competitive landscape. Happy podcasting.